7 uncomfortable psychological facts about human behavior. The dark side of your mind. Warning, the last fact will change your life.
We're going to do something, well, a little bit unsettling. We're stripping away all those comforting illusions you hold about your own mind. I mean, we all love to believe we're these deeply rational, completely self-aware beings entirely in charge of our lives, right? But psychological science, it reveals a much darker and frankly much more uncomfortable reality. So buckle up because we're breaking down 7 psychological facts that will literally change how you look at everyone around you and yourself.
So ask yourself, are you really in control? The truth is, the human mind is just an absolute masterpiece of deception. And unfortunately, most of the time, its biggest victim is you. Throughout this explainer, we're going to challenge your perceived autonomy. We'll look at how you behave in public, how you relate to others, and how your own brain just actively lies to you. Definitely pay close attention to this because a little later on, fact number 4 is going to explain exactly why modern life feels so incredibly lonely, even when we're constantly surrounded by people.
Okay, let's dive straight into Chapter 1, the social masks. We're going to look at how we fundamentally misunderstand what actually makes us likable and safe out in the world. We're kicking things off with Fact 1, and this one's a bit of a reality check. The more flawless you try to appear, the less people actually like you. Psychologists call this the pratfall effect. We all have this deeply ingrained belief that hiding our flaws and projecting total perfection is what makes us attractive, right? But in reality, human beings are incredibly intimidated by it. Just think about a first date or maybe a really high-stakes networking event. You're sitting there trying so hard to project this impenetrable aura of perfection, and it is just exhausting for everyone involved. But then you accidentally spill a few drops of water, you laugh at yourself, and boom, suddenly all the tension in the room just evaporates. And that's because perfection creates a wall. It's intimidating, and it creates this immense distance between you and everyone else. But vulnerability, that is a bridge. When you make a small mistake like spilling that drink, tripping over your words, or just admitting a minor failure, it creates a bridge of trust. It proves you're human, which instantly makes you vastly more relatable. So if you're out there trying to look perfect all the time, just know it's actually doing the exact opposite of what you want. Well, that brings us to fact 2, which is that safety in numbers is a complete lie. Seriously, this absolutely shatters the common myth that a massive crowd will save you in an emergency. You've probably heard of it. It's known as the bystander effect. If you were to collapse or need help in a busy public square, you'd logically assume somebody would instantly step up. But psychology shows us the exact opposite. The more people who witness an emergency, the less likely anyone is to actually help you. Crazy, right? The reason for this is that responsibility gets dangerously diluted in a crowd. Literally, everyone is standing there thinking, oh, someone else will handle it. So if you ever find yourself in danger, you absolutely must break that psychological paralysis. Here is exactly how you do it. Step 1, look at one specific person. Step 2, point directly at them. And step 3, give a very clear, direct command. Say something like, you in the blue shirt, help me. By singling them out, you force the responsibility entirely onto their shoulders, completely shattering the illusion that someone else is going to step in. Now, let's move on to Chapter 2. The price of connection. We're getting into the hidden physical and psychological toll of our relationships. For fact 3, the data we have is mind-blowing. It proves that a broken heart isn't just some poetic metaphor. When someone ignores your text, breaks up with you, or excludes you from a group, brain scans actually show it activates the exact same region of your brain as breaking a physical bone. That's the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex. From an evolutionary standpoint, being rejected by your tribe out in the wild literally meant death. And the thing is, your brain hasn't really updated its software. It still treats emotional rejection as a literal physical threat to your survival. Which brings us to fact 4, unraveling the massive paradox of our time. Why chronic loneliness is at an all-time high. I mean, we have the technology to message literally anyone across the globe in milliseconds. We are the most digitally connected society in all of human history, and yet we have never been lonelier. So what's going on here? Here's the deal. The human brain absolutely requires quality, deep, present interaction to feel safe and secure. When you're just endlessly scrolling through social media, you are substituting real human bonds with what are essentially empty digital echoes. And worse than that, it forces you to compare your very mundane everyday life against everyone else's perfectly curated highlight reels. This constant, inherently unfair comparison triggers a profound psychological sense of isolation. You aren't lonely because you're physically alone, you're lonely because of the incredibly artificial nature of your connections. Moving even deeper into our social circles, Fact 5 reveals a really tough pill to swallow about your closest friends. True friends love you, yes, absolutely, but there is a hidden psychological threshold. Subconscious envy is very real, and competition absolutely lurks within friendships. There's a saying, they want you to do good, just never better than them. Let that sink in for a second. When you suddenly achieve massive success, it forces the people around you to confront their own lack of progress. Your sudden growth acts as this harsh mirror to their own stagnation. And that triggers the human ego's defense mechanism. It's not necessarily malicious on their part, but it is an unavoidable psychological reality. Always pay attention to who doesn't clap when you win. All right, bringing it all inward for our final section, Chapter 3, The Enemy Within. This is all about how your own brain actively fabricates your memories and your decisions. Fact 6 exposes the absolute deceit of memory. You probably trust your memories implicitly, right? Especially those super vivid emotional ones from your childhood. But here's the thing, your brain is not a video camera recording objective reality. The startling truth is that a shockingly large portion of your most cherished memories are completely made up. As we can see here, human memory basically degrades and mutates every single time it's accessed. At point A, the actual event occurs. But at point B, when you recall it later on, your brain automatically starts filling in the blanks. It uses your current emotions, your shifting beliefs, maybe even stories you've heard from other people. By point C, a completely false memory is permanently encoded into your mind. You aren't actually remembering the original event anymore. You are literally simply remembering the last time you thought about it. Wild, right? And finally, we arrive at fact 7. This one shatters the ultimate illusion, that unshakable belief that you actually know why you make your own decisions. We all love to think that our choices, whether it's picking a career path, buying a certain product, or choosing a life partner, are based on careful logic and super rational thought. But here is how choices are actually made. Step 1. Your subconscious, emotional, primitive brain decides what you want seconds before you even realize it, based purely on hidden biases and survival instincts. Then, step 2. Your conscious mind steps in afterward and literally invents a logical reason to justify the choice that was already made for you. I know it's tough to hear, but you are not the driver of your mind. You're really just the passenger trying to explain where the car is going. Human psychology isn't always comforting, is it? It can actually be deeply unsettling to realize just how vulnerable and irrational we truly are. So, wrapping up this explainer, I want to leave you with this question. Which of these facts hit closest to home for you? Acknowledging these uncomfortable truths really is the first necessary step toward genuine self-awareness. So, until next time, just remember, don't believe everything you think.